Yeah.
You're
I've
subscribed,
got.
you should know.
Yeah. Damn algorithm shit.
Indeed, and that's how we start our stream today. Hi, everyone. We're back.
Hello.
Hello.
Did you just hear Melting Man have a potty mouth?
Yeah, back in my days, YouTube was much more, free and wild, and not this nowadays.
Yeah, that's why I kind of don't like super professional YouTubers because it almost sounds like their video has been written by a computer. But you can just hear that every single thing they say has been specifically calculated to be the most efficient way to get viewers and money.
Oh yeah, especially when they have to shove in those like, oh, but first a word from our sponsor is just so freaking robotic. Like, I mean, sure, with my videos, I always repeat, the same openings for Forgotten Media and Archie Sonic character files. But the difference is that I'm always excited to open it up. Like, yeah, let's talk about lesser things or Archie Sonic, while the ad stuff is just soulless marketing.
But before we talk about Sonic, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I wish.
No, it's NordVPN.
Of course. I love making fun of it, though.
Anyway, if you enjoy this live stream, please spank that like button. Don't hit
Spank
it, spank it.
Well, how can you spank a thumbs up there?
That's a good question, indeed. A riddle to be solved.
Yeah.
Punch that like button in the face.
Otherwise, that thumb's going to go right up your nose. Or worse.
Exactly. Anyway, welcome everyone. We're back for the first proper Dissected in quite a while. Well, not entirely. Fleetway yet again bites the dust because we're going to talk Sonic is Murdered instead. Otherwise, this video is going to be a bit long. Luke isn't here. He's on at a concert today. Lucky for him. And instead, we have Addy yet again joining us. Hi, Addy.
Evening.
And of course, the rest of the gang is all here yet again. So yeah, Sonic X and Sonic is Murdered, a new surprise video game we suddenly got 2 weeks ago. Technically, we could have talked about it last stream, but we had our own dumb plans back then. So making up for lost time now, right when nobody cares about it anymore. Anyway, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
Tired, but all right.
Oh, perfectly fine.
Doing all right. I been getting a bunch of Sonic Frontiers mods installed.
So you can play as Nicole, I saw? Or wasn't that your...
I didn't get that one, but I thought I'd share that one because Melting Man is a huge fan of Nicole.
It's Nicole, my beloved, from the Archie Sonic version, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just going to rub it in his face, like saying, I can play as Nicole whilst you can't.
Yeah, because I don't
Slowly trying to convince him to buy the PC version. Or maybe the Switch version, I don't know. Maybe it works on Switch.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have the Steam version.
Neither do I. Maybe one day I'll buy it. But I have to be a little bit careful with the money at the moment. Yeah, shall we just jump right into something?
What, Mud?
Jumping what? That's the big question. We want to talk about Sonic is Murdered or Sonic X first?
Should the chat decide?
Let's
flip a coin.
Sure, let have the chat decide because we're still wasting
time. Let the chat decide.
Thumbs up for yes and thumbs down for execution of me. Of Sonic. Oh yeah, nice.
There we go.
Thumbs up for Sonic lives and thumbs down for Sonic dies. Or just say it. I don't care.
Yeah,
call this number and Robin will survive Joker's attack. Actually, recently read Death in a Family for the first time.
Oh. Hey, Alex, are you here? I'm cheating on Evil Duck again. Yep.
Oh, so that's her in the chat there, yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm working again with Alex on Sonic Frontiers, the cartoon. It's taking a while.
Yeah.
It's demanding high quality from me, and I'm not used to that.
Yeah, something.
Oh, what shenanigans will ensue?
Lots of them.
I wonder if YouTube's going to get a bit worried when people are just going to say murder in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to kill again.
But then again, it's my fault for just simply saying murder over Sonic X.
Yeah, because we all know who Euan would like to murder in Sonic X.
Indeed, he do.
All right, guess we talk about Sonic Murder. Fine, very well.
Sonic Dissected, talking about Sonic Murdered.
Yeah, perfect, isn't it? Game's just made for me. And pretty sure it is, because, man, this game addresses a lot of my complaints I had for a long time. It's the first Sonic game that has a proper setting. First game that really uses the other characters. First game the Shadow's written properly again. It's pretty on story, from a story perspective, it's pretty much the best game in a very long time. No surprise, a lot of people love this one. And that for an April
The game
Fool's.
started as an April Fool's joke too, and it's just taken everybody by surprise.
Yeah,
with how good it is.
Expecting a Big the Cat Adventure free, of course, but nope.
The art, the style, the charm. Oh my god, everything.
This could have easily been like a DS game or something. Like, in terms of this being a game, like, the only complaint I might have had is a bit linear, I guess. But yeah, again, for a free April Fool's game, that's not really a point. But again, if this was a professional game, that would have been my only complaint, I guess. Like, oh, it's a bit linear. Didn't really have much freedom. But other than that, man, this is amazing, yeah.
Amazing even that Sega acknowledges this, that it's allowed to, be up on Steam and whatnot.
Yeah, this game really feels like a statement from Sega itself. Like, okay, we're really gonna put the characters back in there. I mean, that was one of the complaints we had with Sonic Frontiers, right? That they made so many references to Sonic's history, but then we don't really get any visual feedback from it. And this game does. So, at least a lot better. Yeah, where to start? I don't know.
From the beginning, sir.
At the beginning. Oh, you want to go through the whole story? I'm not really properly prepared. Anyway, Sala, what are your general thoughts of this game?
So, yeah, I think this is a fantastic way to spend a few hours. I was not expecting it to be so long and so in-depth and so, like, actually good. I expected it to just...
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I expected it to just be like a silly little thing where, like, there's absolutely no stakes, and it's all just a joke, but, like... And it seemed like it was going to be at the start when they reveal, oh, it's just a murder mystery birthday party thing. But then, like, Sonic is, like, actually out of commission. I started to wonder if they were actually going to have him just be dead.
That it was definitely be an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. I streamed the whole game, and when Vector comes carrying Sonic's body into the conductor's car, I started laughing so hard.
God, that was a surprise.
Anyway, yeah, our friend Elise says that you have to murder something in order to dissect it, because vivisection is on a living thing. Ooh, that's... I don't know how to pronounce that. Well, whatever. Anyway, yeah.
You have to murder something in order to dissect it, or else it's just torture.
Yeah, unless it's like surgery or something. Anyway, yeah, so what's the story?
What's the story? The story is that everyone is getting ready for Amy's big old birthday party, and for this birthday party, she's going to be doing a murder mystery on a train. So she invites all her friends around. They get onto the train, and hijinks ensue in that typical old Sonic the Hedgehog fashion. Oh, and spoiler alert, Sonic dies. Or does he?
Dun dun dun. And Amy is so happy about it. One of those perfect joke punchlines. Someone murdered Sonic, yay!
Everyone's all nice and dolled up for the occasion. You can see from the picture, everyone's wearing some nice, lovely clothes. Vector's a butcher.
So they say that Amy decided what outfits everyone got. Like, I guess he chose everyone's background story. But now it's extra funny that only the girls have pants and all the boys are all without pants. Like, that's what she demanded. It's like, no, all of you have to be naked.
Yes, Amy Rose has handed out lore cards to the rest of the group so they know how to act and how to play the characters in this murder mystery story. And so they've all dressed to the part.
Yep.
And here they're all mingling, getting ready for the train to start moving. We're introduced to 2 characters to start the story off with, the conductor and, more importantly, the protag.
But yeah, so something goes wrong. The train suddenly speeds up. Its robotic arms go a little crazy, and now you have to investigate everyone. Well, it's constantly a surprise what's supposed to be scripted and planned, and what's actually some nefarious plan going on behind the scenes. I mean, I guess we'll talk about how it ends eventually. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty much a point-and-click adventure game where you just talk to people and investigate it. It's kind of linear, so it's kind of hard to fail at anything. It's pretty straightforward. So much you don't even have to figure anything out, really. Like, you just click on it.
It's the kind of linear where you guess who the killer is before the story reveals it.
True, yeah, you can pretty much figure it out. One thing that kind of not really frustrated, but something that I always had to get out of my head is it's never really explained. It's a big deal in figuring out who the murderers, how they got from their train card to the first train card. Except they're all Sonic characters, so I can just imagine them just jumping out of the window, just walking over the rooftop like you would do in the games itself. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's tons of Sonic games where you run around on top of a train. Like Triple Trouble, Sonic Mania, Sonic Adventure, just to call of you. But I guess we're not supposed to think about that. Like, no, just pretend they're normal characters in a normal murder mystery. So you actually have to figure out how they got to the first car, rather than just the normal platform game way. Although to their credit, they do utilize the characters' abilities a little bit. I mean, they bring up who can climb and fly, because that is kind of relevant to the final mystery you have to solve, I guess. How Sonic got into
absolutely.
into the ceiling. So they kind of work a little bit with it, but.
And to spice it up even more, when you're in between the clicking and the investigation part, you take part in what is called the think time. I'm not sure what it is, but essentially it's like a 2D Sonic jumping game thing where you collect your rings. So that's a good way to mix it up.
It's another one of those moments where the game is just begging for me to make a parody of it. It's like, how do you think something? What would Sonic do? Oh, Sonic would just run straight ahead. It's like, oh, is it... now I'm just thinking of Sonic actually being a detective, and every single time he has to think, he just starts running like an insane person.
Hey, Roger, do you know the answer to this math question?
No.
I suppose we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, and so just run. Or just grab your mobile phone and play Sonic Runners, I guess.
The Dream Gear.
Yeah, it's so funny that very, very often they use Sonic running and collecting rings as a way to solve something that has nothing to do with it. Especially funny when Knuckles is about to attack you. It's like, oh, you quickly have to distract Knuckles, he's attacking you, and then you get this mini game. Again, they're begging me to make a parody where Barry, or he or she, whatever it is, it's like playing on the phone while Knuckles still beating it up. I'm like, oh, yeah, you distracted it successfully, good job. Knuckles is so confused that you keep playing your game instead of reacting to being beaten up. That was what distracted him at the end.
Yeah, getting pummeled to death all for the sake of, rebuilding a broken arcade machine.
Sorry, what was that about the arcade machine, Euan?
Yeah, well, just saying, Barry getting punched to near death by Knuckles, all the while Tails is just trying to fix the arcade machine. Just to get answers.
Indeed. Big mystery. But hey, it's not just an arcade machine, it's Super Monkey Ball Arcade. I have to remember that because I keep mentioning it hardcore. It's a video game.
Shout out to Super Monkey Ball.
Super Monkey Ball, yeah. It's kind of funny how often they bring that up with the full title. It's also advertising. Super Monkey Ball from Sega, buy now. I wasn't even
I think
aware
it's safe to assume that they were fans.
Yep. And I love that. Always great in Sega games when other Sega IP show up as a cameo. Kind of rhymes with Shamu and Yakuza and all that, having other Sega arcade machines. Good stuff. I love it. And of course, the Dream Gear being a mix up between the Dreamcast and the Game Gear, I guess. So, my favorite Sega consoles. Hooray! Yep, it's definitely a game made for me and very parody friendly. So I'm sure there's a minute version coming soon. You were saying something?
Nah, I'm just saying only time will tell.
Time will tell what? Did I make a parody?
Well, for you to get your, non-product infringing console.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame the Sega, the mini Game Gears never got here. Only in Japan only. I wanted one.
Yeah.
It's only the stupid Genesis that keeps getting re-released. I don't care. I want a mini Dreamcast and a mini Game Gear, damn it. Those are my nostalgia babies.
I know. But Mega Drive's more popular in Europe.
Indeed.
Oh well, what can you do except work for them?
Indeed. Oh well, no big deal. You can always make your own, I guess, through like a pie machine or something. Anyway, back to the game. So, you're playing as, well, Barry is, I guess, the official name. The Microwave Master, even though you never get to microwave something. That kind of disappointed me. I was kind of hoping for that to pay off somewhere. Guess that's...
Again, it goes to show you the humor of this game, though.
That's true, yeah. You can bother everyone. Constantly ask them what they want to eat, even though you never give them anything. You're doing a pretty shitty job, Barry. You have one job, give people food, and you never do in the whole game.
Too busy looking in the trash.
Yeah. Ooh, Sala, your volume is a bit too low now.
Oh. Sorry. How's that?
A little better, yeah. I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was told I was too loud earlier, so I turned myself down, and I guess I went a little too far.
And I was okay. You sound pretty good to me now. Now, hopefully, nobody will say you're too loud again, unless we keep screwing around. Yeah. Anyway, my favorite part of the whole game was the part where Rouge and Blaze have this whole robbery thing going on, a heist. Even though it doesn't really make sense in the whole concept of the game. It's like, why is there suddenly a second floor and an elevator inside of a train? Why is there a legendary treasure? Is that part of Robotnik's plan or part of the conductor's plan? Or
Nonetheless, it's just another added part of that little bit of charm that is unique to this game. For every answer that you chose for Rouge and Blaze's explanations, you get a nice little, sketch there in the middle with the white square, unique to the answer.
Absolutely. A lot of
and the game is littered with these little things.
Yep, there's tons of little fan servicey and little details. It's amazing. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And it's a great showcase of showing the characters interacting with a different situation and all that. I love it. And it kind of feels like it's almost a continuation of my own Sonic Heroes parody, where Rouge constantly managed to get everyone immediately on board to help her out, even though it didn't make sense. Even here, she just convinces Tails and Blaze to help her out with a robbery, even though there's absolutely nothing in it for them. It's just Rouge being
darlings,
Rouge.
Would you please help me steal some things?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Blaze was on board, Tails was on board, Barry was on board.
Yep,
we're just all okay with stealing things now.
It's just Rouge being awesome again at being manipulating to everyone.
I just love how in this they've made Blaze she is so done with everybody's shit. She's just over it.
I actually love how she goes along with everything. If you ask her to marry her, she just calmly said, "Oh, do you have any war crimes I need to know about it?" I love the fact that's not even a deal breaker. She's just considering it. So, okay, what kind of war crimes did you commit? It's just a couple of people you murdered. I might still consider it. Not a big deal.
You want to pretend to be my spouse? Okay.
Is it one or two mass graves she caused?
It's just amazing just how seriously Blaze, of all people, takes the game. That's her reason for joining the heist, is because she thinks it's in character.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, being a princess is all about performing and following the rules too. So I guess she just takes it in the same level as being a princess. It's like, oh, this is my job, so I guess I'll just do it 100%.
Yep. There's also another funny moment right at the beginning is when you're collecting everyone's tickets, and when the conductor collects Blaze's, he like asks if she's visiting from somewhere, and I just say like, just immediately blurted out, "Yeah, from another dimension." And Blaze's next line is, "I'm from another dimension." I didn't expect they were actually going to bring that up. I figured that was just going to be another thing that like, oh, Blaze is here again. I guess they forgot that she's from another dimension. But no, they remembered that and included it.
Yep, she could just pop in and out whenever she's needed now.
Yep.
All explained.
And apparently the birthday cake in Sonic's world is better than in hers.
Oh, guess we'll just believe her on that. It makes you wonder how many birthday cakes he had in this universe.
As we can see from the picture here, we've got the usual cast of main Sonic characters, but noticeably missing from our usual crew is the likes of Cream the Rabbit or Charmy the Bee, because maybe they were too young for a murder mystery game.
Even though Tills is just as young and he's evolved, but whatever, I guess he's more mature, I suppose.
Well, Tails is 2 years older than Cream and Charmy, so I guess
okay, I didn't know that.
I guess that's the difference.
But yeah, especially sad for Charmy. I mean, he's a detective, and now he's missing out on a detective party. Oh well, I already saw a lot of fan art of people making Cream and Charmy have their own detective adventure somewhere. Like where Vanilla set something up for them.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame, but...
the stupid little drawing I did.
yeah, I thought it was appropriate for this. If we're going to talk about missing Cream. Oh well, not to worry, Cream fans. She shows up in Sonic X, so...
Yeah, don't need to worry about her in the meantime. I took her on a little tour of Station Square.
Ah, how adorable.
We had a lovely day.
Good to know.
Hooray!
Hooray.
A bit difficult to talk about this game. Didn't really prepare.
That's
Is it spoiler-free, or are we going into spoilers?
Nah, it's feel free to spoil. I'm sure pretty much everyone already beat the game. I mean, again, it's...
Well, I'm sure that...
No?
The poet
I'm sure the
did
chat... yes. I'm sure the chat could guess who did it and who is the ultimate final boss. As if it wasn't already obvious.
Yep. It's pretty
Although,
easy.
considering out of all the cast of main Sonic characters, I found it interesting that they chose Espio for the game version of the murder mystery thing. They chose him of all of them because you don't expect it. Espio is literally always in the background. He's invisible. There's nothing special about him.
Yeah, it's kind of nice he finally gets a little bit of a spotlight on him. I always found him one of the most underused characters of all. He's so interesting as a detective and ninja, but they just don't do anything with it at all. But yeah, as a result, he makes sense a lot as the assassin. I mean, he is a ninja.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to have a character who took it a little too serious. It had to be either Blaze, Knuckles, or Espio. Because no one else would do something that would actually hurt Sonic. But the first
time that I played this, I literally thought that, like, I clicked on Espio first. So, and then it showed, like, the scene play out, obviously. But
I already
because I clicked on
Espio, because you already had him cornered. I mean, the game kind of forces you to kind of protect Espio, but they never really resolve it. But...
yeah, exactly.
And again, I was constantly thinking of, like, Espio can walk on walls, so he could just climb out of the window and just walk on the side of the train. But never mind, I was not supposed to think like that.
And how did Espio do it? With a blow dart. Ninja. Because ninjas, blow darts. Ninjas, that's my thing.
Well, to be fair, it was not his blow dart. It was given to him by the train. So I guess if anyone else was to murder, they also would have had the same blow dart.
Ah, yes, the train. The train.
Oh my God. Was the true villain. What's kind of funny about this is that the train's plan, yes, the train has a plan, is done by the fact that like Sonic eventually does wake up, but like Espio completely trusted this blow dart. He could have made it like an actually deadly poison and just told Espio like, yeah, this'll knock him out for a while. Espio's like, all right, and
Yeah,
Sonic would
it
have
could have
actually
been,
been dead.
Pretty much, yeah.
the actual murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Years and years of fighting Dr. Robotnik, and suddenly it's all gone just by a blow dart, a poisonous blow dart.
So let's hope Eggman doesn't really check it out closely what happened. Otherwise, he might organize more murder mysteries in the future to try to achieve it again. Good stuff.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
B shenanigans.
I guess he's still referring to the picture on screen, like the fan art of Cream and Charmy having their own murder mystery to solve. It's an awesome picture, yeah. Does anyone know who it is? Because kind of awkward to put it here without credits. Oh, well.
I don't know. I've seen it before, but I don't know who did it.
Sorry, artists. Better click it away. People don't like when you show art without crediting the creator. Still awesome art. But yeah, Shadow, he's finally written better. He finally has a softer side again, so that's good to know. It's one of the better things in the whole game. I guess it's written by the same people who do the Twitter takeovers, because a lot of the jokes from the Twitter takeover sequences show up here, like him being more really loving coffee and all that stuff. But I like it. It's about time Shadow gets to show his softer side again, and he's not just asshole man anymore.
Yeah, I loved that. Like at the beginning, he was kind of a jerk, but like when you actually like confront him and figure out what's going on, he's being a real sweetheart, and I love that about him.
Yeah, much appreciated. So glad that finally came back. Let's hope it sticks. But yeah, at least it shows that Sega's okay with this characterization again, because that was our concern all the time. Like, is there like an official rule about it that you're not allowed to write Shadow in any way other than how he usually is? So either this means officially that invisible rule is finally gone and they can actually portray Shadow nicer again, or maybe the rule never existed and it was just a matter of having bad writers a lot, I guess. Guess we'll never know what the truth is, but hey, at least here's a game that finally breaks that rule, so that's good.
Yeah, it's always nice to see Shadow being portrayed in different ways. I, for one, will always prefer my Shadow a cold-hearted dick. But
well, he can be a cold-hearted dick. That's okay, but there needs to be like an underlying positive side to him, because by the end of the day, he is driven by good.
Sonic,
Exactly.
you fool! How dare you and your friends have this murder mystery for your little friends? Can't you see the world is at stake?
So yeah,
Dr.
don't get me wrong,
Eggman
I
is
don't
still
mind
on the
him
loose.
acting like a dick. That's perfectly fine. I just want to know that he's doing it for the good reasons and not just because he hates friends and hates Sonic and that weird stuff. Like he's a man on a mission. But yeah. Anything else?
Well, they got on to the last part of the game, which was the final boss, in which you collect rings in order to the whole think time thing, and that was to destroy the train. And you had that heartfelt, I guess it was supposed to be heartfelt moment between the train and its conductor, the story behind this story.
I thought
This
it
was
kind
all
of
about-
sad, surprisingly. It's the first Sonic game in a long time that actually made me tear up a little bit. I mean, a lot of Sonic games tried in the past, but it never really worked. I mean, Sonic Forces just makes me laugh. It is forced a friendship message or trying to be sentimental about classic Sonic and Avatar, who aren't even real characters and can't talk. But here, I was kind of
I've
sad
said-
for the train.
Yeah, I've said it once before. The last 3 or so Sonic games I played, including Frontiers, how is the most emotion being invoked out of a final boss? This lonely, sentient train badnik that just wants to be forever with its conductor at the end of a murder mystery Sonic game for free on Steam.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I just couldn't believe it.
it's definitely unexpected. And like, there were times when I was like, kind of rooting for the train
In a
because
way, yeah.
it just seemed so distraught at the idea that its conductor was gonna go away.
You gotta let go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I know it's kind of typical.
Yeah.
This is the second Sonic game in a row where none of the main characters cares about one of Eggman's baddies having a tragic death. Because first with Sage, nobody gave a damn. Like, oh, she's dead, whatever. And now the train is gone and nobody has a reaction either. Only the conductor has. Everyone else like, okay, train.
Just a sad, somber goodbye, train. Thank you for all these years together. And now I
only
must
the
be off
conductor
to be
said
with
that.
my
Sonic
wife.
and Friends just said nothing about it. It was like, okay, we defeated it. Moving on. Here's cake. Yay.
I saw this joke elsewhere that like the train was in love with the conductor.
Well, I'm sure someone's going to ship it. I'm sure we're going to find some Rule 34 about it soon enough.
Conductor, don't leave me for your actual wife. No. Sundere train.
I think that'd be Yandere train.
Yandere train, whatever. One
Yeah.
of them.
Like I said, this game is just begging for parodies. It's so easy to do it, but in a positive way. Not in I'm making fun of it because it's a bad game. It's like, no, it's a fun game. It's fun to play with the concepts.
And all these concepts that we've spoken about, you know, all done just for a little April Fool's thing. They could have just made like a fake click image on a fake website or something, but no, a fully fledged game made by fans, for all I know, and officially published it, and you know, just
It's a real
fun.
deal, yeah.
And in case anyone is worried, the train does have a happy ending because the train itself gets destroyed, but the flicky that was powering it by itself goes on to become the conductor's friend. So
That's nice. I mean, of course, it depends on if you consider the Flicky to be the same personality of the robot itself. Kind of the same with, say, Eon 2. But yeah, if you look at it that way, it does have a happy ending. Although, speaking of the Flicky, that kind of made me laugh a lot because I'm not sure if the writers thought that through. Because they made this whole story that this train existed for 32 years now. But then, has that
my
Flicky
God.
been powering that robot for all this time? Like, man, in
Oh
my
my
parody,
God.
when that Flicky's going to show up, it's going to be all muscular from just 30 years of nonstop.
All
running.
those years of the Flicky just riding on the hamster wheel, gonna have drumstick
Pow-
legs of muscular power.
powering an entire train with a supercomputer on it.
And that's right, that Flicky must be the strongest animal in the universe. It's really just pushing an entire train and all its robotic arms.
Oh my God.
Not sure if I'm supposed to think about it, but I am thinking about it and it makes me laugh, so that's good.
What a beautiful gem for an April's Fool's
So there,
joke.
there in your parody just makes the flicky extremely buff.
Yes, I will. Even though technically marathon runners aren't really that buff looking, but for a joke, doesn't matter. It's just a bodybuilder
Yeah.
now.
Marathon runners don't run non-stop for 30-something years.
That's true. Marathon
Yeah.
runners don't run for 32 years nonstop while pushing a train. Okay, I guess in that circumstance you would get a bodybuilder body, or you just die probably more likely. But
Yeah.
also looking at this picture, now I realize Knuckles doing a better job at of serving drinks and food to the people than Barry ever did, because Knuckles actually gave drinks to his friends. Barry never
Again,
did.
Knuckles with the cowboy hat.
Yep.
A cowboy
he
hat, not the cowboy
Drinks
hat.
he ordered drinks for Vector and Rouge, but I think the robot gave them to him.
Oh, the robot did it.
Still.
Fair enough.
Still, that does mean Knuckles did a better job of getting beverages to people,
Ouch.
because at least they got beverages.
Yeah. And peanuts. Or whatever
Ooh,
the nuts
yep.
were in the bowl.
Yeah,
Salted.
Fun to think about.
unsalted. There was also as you can see in the picture, one of the cups has a lipstick stain on it, and I like that Barry I guess we're just calling him Barry, commented that the lipstick is not Knuckles' color, implying that Knuckles does have a lipstick color, whether or not Knuckles knows it.
That's interesting.
Got something to tell us, Knuckles?
Dun dun dun.
I think it's more of got something to tell us Barry, because he knows what Knuckles' color is.
Extra thing to mention, in the background, even the people who made this game are aware of the hatred that is Chow.
Yep.
So much I was still that hated? Oh well, guess it's just a meme now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Finally a war criminal.
Chow is wanted for medical malpractice.
Press the A button to commit the robbery.
Not the robbery, just to botch surgery, apparently.
Surgery?
So. I mean, I guess maybe he worked on one of those Chow schools where they have like an infirmary for the kids. There he screwed up somehow. He killed a Chow baby. Then again, we're not sure if that's a real wanted post or just a fake one just for the scenery.
Equip the scalpel and press the X button to make the incision.
Well, I guess we won't see Chow in a while for the Sonic games then. Unless he's a bad guy. Or making a cameo in prison. Poor Chow.
Poor us.
Poor us for having to deal with him. Well, he's not that bad. It's not like if you can kill him all the time. That's good.
Yeah, there's that one notorious spot in that one arc level where you can blow up a certain glass panel and Chow just gets sucked out into the void and then respawns and gets sucked back out into the void forever.
Poor Chow. Fate worse than death.
And that is the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, except not really.
Sonic was never murdered, so no crime has been committed. Except for Rouge.
April Fools!
Except Rouge stealing the Fabergé egg. So I guess that's the real crime. As he's never caught for it. So he gets the jewelry and just gets away with it. Good old Rouge.
I guess she was due a win at some point.
Fair enough. Still, I wonder who organized that all and then hired the Chow to protect it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because that's kind of like a weird feeling because for the most part there's no other staff members on the train except for you and the arms. So to randomly have like a Chow, like I guess technically is our colleague. But I mean, never really shows up. They only talk about it. So that was kind of a bit of a weird moment. Oh well. A lot of comedy potential anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if this will open way for them to do something else in the future. Another small click on it adventure thing for free on Steam.
I'm all for it.
There was also the little ending screen where Eggman was getting to celebrate Sonic's capture, and Metal Sonic and Sage are there wearing t-shirts that say "Go Dad."
And as is the result of lots of people's headcanons, yes, Sage is with Metal Sonic being treated like the sister to Metal Sonic, and they are the daughter and son to Dr. Eggman.
Yep,
just exactly. Full on.
The joke everyone makes, and now it's official. I guess.
I freaking love Sage.
Let's
so
go,
much.
Dad. And oddly, it works. You know. With this
they all look
type
so miserable.
Of
yeah. They were looking so forward to Sonic's capture.
Oh, that reminds me. Can I talk about what I ended up doing last weekend?
Sure, go ahead.
So I went to a convention called SAC Anime, and I got to meet the voice of Sage. And she's very, very funny. She's just very excited to be Sage because she didn't know. Actually, she did know that she was auditioning for a Sonic character because one of the lines is "Where are you, Sonic?" But she was excited to be a part of the Sonic series, and she's so happy to see people liking the character so much.
All right, nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice job. You know,
Yeah,
I wish I could meet celebrities like that every day.
I mean, I wish I could too, but it was a special event. So, yeah, Roger Craig Smith, Kalina Shaughnessy, Mike Pollock, and Ryan Bartley were all there, and they did a panel, and they I actually learned some things about it from the panel. Like, for example, all the characters had deeper voices in this game, and that bothered me because Sonic's voice was already too deep, I always considered, when Roger Craig Smith was voicing him. I always thought Roger's voice was too deep, and then when we heard everyone else's voices being a little deeper, I'm like, oh, finally Sonic will sound right, and then Sonic's voice is even deeper. Apparently that was not Roger's decision, because he went in and he starts doing Sonic as normal, and the director just kept telling him to go deeper. And
It really bothered me because, in a way, it kind of makes sense because it is a more depressing game and Sonic is kind of like out and in this weird position. So this would have worked fine if they talked normally in the opening scene, so you had that contrast. Like when they're on the plane at the beginning, they still talk like they usually would, and then when they're trapped in cyberspace, then they have the weird way of talking, like it's an effect of the universe around them. But for some reason, Sonic Team always has a problem of understanding like scenarios changing, so they treat all games like a flat line. It's like, oh, in the whole game you always sound depressed even before anything bad happens. Kind of reminds you of Sonic Forces, where the world is already at war even before the war begins, because they can't be bothered to create like a scenario or like a situation in the game where it hasn't happened yet. It's too much work for them or something. But now it's just a matter of voice acting. Like, okay, just sound upbeat at the beginning, and then when you get trapped into the cyberspace, then you get more depressed and heavier as the game goes on, and you get more distorted.
it wasn't a matter of them being depressed so much as the direction that all of them say they got from the directors was to sound more mature.
Right, but I
So-
wonder if that's like indeed a direction they're gonna stick with, or is it just specifically for this game because it belongs to the atmosphere of this game?
Yeah, that's something we'll have to see, is whether or not this keeps up. It was kind of funny though that Roger confirmed that this is so different from Sonic Boom, because in his words, like, this game has such high stakes, and Sonic Boom there is no stakes.
What's that about steak?
No,
Oh,
he's
did
not
it
talking
cut out?
about food. You glutton. Not that kind of steak.
But yeah, it is kind of funny to just hear him outright say that Sonic Boom has no stakes.
Well, it's true. I mean, what's the worst that
Yeah.
can happen? This Eggman gloats over them. They lose their sleep for a day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just waving it in their head, waving in their face. Like, ha.
So yeah, it is pretty much the complete opposite. So I can imagine it weirds him out. Still, I appreciate it. But yeah, I hope the next game is going to be a bit more upbeat, or at least more humorous and silly again. I mean, not in a Sonic Lost World kind of way, but just a little too extreme in the other direction. That's the problem with Sonic.
I honestly don't know what I would. I honestly don't know what I would want from the next Sonic game. Personally, like after what Frontiers and what this has done, I'm
it's
just
hard to
along
say,
for the
honestly.
ride.
It goes all over the place, yeah. Guess
Watch
more
other
open
people
world
play
stuff.
it.
One concern I do have for future Sonic games is if they're trying to match the success of Sonic Frontiers, does that mean we're gonna keep getting supersonic boss fights where Sonic loses the Chaos Emerald after every boss? Because there was a good excuse for that in here, in that the ancients have technology specifically for the Chaos Emeralds, but like they just can't stay on the Starfall Islands forever. So is Sonic just going to actually start losing Chaos Emeralds?
technically, it already does it every single game, except usually it happens in between games. But it's never explained why they keep losing the emeralds. I mean, they're Kale's emeralds. I guess they just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
MacGuffins.
Still, I always found it funny how he loses Gale's emeralds in the game because you don't really see what happens. You just see Supersonic flying, and all of a sudden a laser comes out of nowhere and it hits him. Like you never know where the lasers come from. That's why in the parody I'm making, I would just have a joke that the rocks themselves shoot him because the rocks just hate Sonic. Like just like a little pebble comes out of the ground, like damn you, Supersonic! Because the game never really explained it. I mean, I guess we have to assume there's a special like anti-Gale's emerald laser cannon somewhere. I mean, you'd think the Ent would use it at the end or something, but nope. Oh well.
Newsflash, Sonic is actually racist against rocks.
Exactly. Poor rocks. Oh, Joe Addy is the name of the person who drew the artwork. Hearing that, should write his name on screen.
Good job.
Good job, Joe Addy, yes.
Yeah, and I think someone that was questioning about like who the second B was, apparently it's called Mello, I think.
Oh, well, Euan appears again. Hi, Euan. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Melty confirmed. Oh, he's not responding. Oh.
Oh, he's typing.
He's typing. Melty, you know you can just unmute yourself.
Yes.
But yeah, Melting Man refuses to talk about Sonic games. That's why he's sitting it out for a while.
I'll just say what he says. Well, I don't know. Mello never took off his helmet in the Archie Sonics.
Was that the one that ate a poison chili
dog? Is that your Melting Man impression? Had too much emotion. Make it more.
Yeah, and that's the way they killed off the character. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So so I'm back here. So yeah, Mello. Okay, so apparently someone in the chat told me that the artist said, yeah, it's supposed to be Mello, who apparently in their interpretation he has an afro. But yeah, Mello is quite an interesting character, mostly because he's known for, he's that B kid that died from an overdose of LCD, which in the comics they have a really dumb, version of it, because, it's supposed to be red, but in the comics they call it, it's, what is it, damn it, I gotta look it up. It's something really stupid.
Poisonous chili dog, I think, or something?
Yeah, it was a chili dog sold at some carnival area read by Renfield T. Rodent, and it was...
I remember that one.
So that was kind of a weird plan. So yeah, okay, here it is. So it's a reference to the whole LSD bug thing, but in the comics they refer to it as Lemon Sundrop Dandelion. Yeah, it's really stupid.
All right.
Well, and an extra congratulations to the artist for putting in a little Easter egg.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Old character.
And have the interpretation what Charmy looks like without his helmet. Yeah, that's a weird thought.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Mello the Bee. You did nothing of regular importance. So.
Yeah, poor Mello. We hardly knew you because he barely got any screen time in the comics. It's like, first introduction, dead. That's it. We never heard of poor Mello.
Yeah. And the fact we were supposed to care about this character, but nope.
Yeah.
I always found it such a fascinating, weird thing that if you don't see a character too long, you don't care if it's dead. Are you treating people like that as well? Like someone suddenly dies in front of you, and I don't know you, whatever, die. It's I find it such a weird complaint. I don't care about lost human life if I haven't spent more than an hour with you.
I wonder if that's how Barry felt.
Yeah.
When he saw Sonic literally just in pain on the floor, it's like, well, if I knew better, I probably would have cared more.
Mello ingested a fatal amount of drug-laced chili dog sauce. What a way to go.
Yeah.
Sonic would be proud.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably how Sonic will die at the age of 98.
I am sorry you keep getting interrupted, Melty.
Yeah, being laced with lemon sundrop dandelion. So I guess since we have that, because we already have NIDS, which is the Sonic version of AIDS that Maria has.
Right.
Yeah, but of course we all know that that specific detail is only referenced in the Japanese version. Well, of course, on Archie Sonic too, but yeah.
I'm surprised.
Congratulations, Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog video game for Steam, making us think of the minorest of minor characters, Mellow the Bee, dead by chili dog sauce.
Ah.
So it's kind of funny that you brought up the fact that we don't really care about this character dying because they just barely showed up before their death. Because that's going to become relevant when we talk about Sonic X today.
Goodbye, Mello. I cared more about a train than I did for you.
Poor Mello. He's about as memorable as Bimmy the Echidna. And yes, that was a real character in Archie Sonic, who's clearly the best Echidna character because his name is frickin' Bimmy.
Poor guy. Anyway, yeah, I guess we're done with Who Murdered Sonic then, I guess. Anyone else has something to say? Euan, you didn't say anything yet?
Well, not played it, but I did watch your playthrough of it, so I got the overall general gist of it, and I suppose in the end, what you guys all said is probably what I would have said as well, so there we go.
There you go, indeed. And that's right, I forgot to say that. Me and my wife did a live stream playthrough of this game, so I probably should link it somewhere, maybe down below when this video is done. If you want to see my reaction to the game while I'm playing it.
Unless she's going to basically make a condensed version of it.
Possibly.
And put it on YouTube somewhere.
Selecting all the highlights, yeah.
Fair enough. Although it's probably not too interesting because I'm not very funny on the go while I'm still playing it. Oh well. But yeah,
Sure that...
I guess we'll move on to Sonic X then. So yeah, I really recommend Who Murdered Sonic. Pretty good game. Probably gotta make a parody of it because it's begging for one.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it.
Yeah, do it now!
Alas, I'm a little bit busy at the moment, but eventually it will come. But then we move on to Sonic X, I suppose. Yes, episode 2062. Let's start with that one. So, anyone want to do a synopsis of Tails and Cream being lost together in the labyrinths?
Tails and Cosmo.
Oh, what did I say?
You said Tails and Cream.
Oh, whoops.
I mean, Cream's in the episode, but
she did.
Exactly accompanying.
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, finally we get our Tails and Cream. I keep saying
Tails and Cosmo.
And Cosmo. Sorry,
God.
Cosmo. Sorry. We finally get their chemistry starting.
Oh, well.
You ordered Cream, but you got Cosmo.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame you for mixing up, since both of their names start with a C.
Well, how many times can I screw it up before I need to be punished for something, I guess? 'Cause I'm sure I'm going to make this mistake another 10 times.
It's the Forces and Frontiers thing all over again.
Exactly.
So, I guess I could do the synopsis.
Sure.
In that, so the heroes find a planet with a Chaos Emerald signature. Cream, or not Cream. I did Cosmo.
Sorry.
Cosmo has like a flashback of back when her planet was still thriving before the Meta-X attacked. And so they Knuckles, Tails, and Chris, Knuckles, Tails, and Cosmo all go down into a chasm to follow the signature of the Chaos Emerald or whatever. And they find a cave with a very convenient ledge coming out of it. And they enter it, and immediately Cosmo accidentally presses a button that causes a cave-in, and Knuckles starts trying to dig them out, and that's the last we see of him until the end of the episode.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Tails gets injured in the fall. Cosmo rips off part of her skirt and uses it to bandage his head, which is cute. And then they start wandering around, and they find little fireflies, and they follow those to find a factory that is making artificial Chaos Emeralds. And Tails is wondering, why would anyone make an artificial Chaos Emerald? Says the fox who made an artificial Chaos Emerald.
It's a good
Yes,
using.
Tails.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Jeez, I wonder why someone would want more of these things that give you infinite power.
Especially since artificial versions have the same kind of power, almost. Yeah, continue, sorry.
So anyways, Tails hacks into the computer, but he can't read the language, but Cosmo can. So she starts reading off what it says, and they find out some Tails, like, copies all the data, and then they get attacked by Metarex, who, like, snake things. And Cosmo gets the Chaos Emerald, and they leave. But, like, Cosmo finds out that, like, oh, if you've got negative emotions, the Chaos Emeralds are used for bad. So she declares that she can't hold the Chaos Emerald because her heart is full of hatred and sadness. And Tails like, nah, you're fine.
Keep loading those edges, Cosmo.
Yoda's very disappointed in you.
It'll go away in 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's this foreshadowing of, like, oh, you can use the Chaos Emeralds even if you're sad, as long as you believe in your friends. So do it, Cosmo, use the Chaos Emerald. And before she can, Sonic saves them. So all that foreshadowing wasn't for anything. And Sonic and Amy show up and they save Cosmo and Tails. Almost said Cosmo and Cream.
You're gonna keep making that mistake. Oh,
Yeah, everyone is Cream.
No.
Cream, Cosmo, Cosmo, Cream.
Yep.
Cosmetic cream.
There you go.
There we go. And then they go back to the surface, and Knuckles arrives at the surface somehow, and everyone laughs at him because he was trying his
I
best.
still exist.
I'm still here.
But of course, him getting annoyed that they're just laughing at him. Be
Yeah.
like, are you laughing at me? Stop laughing at me! Stop laughing now!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like that bit from those old cartoons where they all yuck it up at the end.
Oh, I did forget that Chris and Cream were both in the rescue party as well. And Chris has a gun, and apparently Cheese knows how to spin dash.
It's so interesting to see Cream just part of the attack group, because so far she never really gets to fight. I think she only did in the Emerald episode, but that episode built up towards it. This is like the first time you see Cream just randomly part of the attack team. She's just there, just throwing cheese like it's nothing. Like, I love it.
Yeah. A little bit of badassery from the rabbit.
Yeah, back in the day when Cream was actually a character, before Sega started to forget about her.
Man, I just
Yeah,
really
we're not
love
gonna
it.
hear
It's
the
just
end of this
official,
from you,
like,
are
that's
we?
Cream's main attack, just throwing chow. Sorry, Euan, go ahead.
Nah, I'm just grumbling towards Melty like, we're never going to hear the end of this. Like, oh, Sega's forgotten my sweetheart Cream. How dare they?
Well, even
Hey,
Cream's
they
voice
haven't-
actors had complaints lately, so...
Well, I mean, heck, she hasn't been in the main.
Executives.
Well, I mean, she has been in a main role in the console games and whatnot for over like 10 flipping years, so of course I'm gonna bitch about that. But I guess I shouldn't complain too much, because the comics are like the only things nowadays that are keeping her alive.
Hey, and let's be straight here. It's gonna take until December this year for the first time for Knuckles and Amy to be relevant since 2006. So even they barely get any screen time. More than Cream, sure, but they haven't been relevant for a long time either. It's just Sega's problem in general with using the other characters, which of course is why Sonic's Murdered is such a great game. Finally, Sonic is dead, so the other characters can do something. Yay!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
In the meantime, this big-eared bunny bitch is getting too big for her britches. Better put her back in the box.
What, Miss Piggy, what?
This little bunny bitch is getting too big for her britches.
Oh, Cream, yeah. But anyway,
Keep her
there
off the
was another-
train. Keep her out of the games.
There was another funny thing about this episode, is the Fireflies end up becoming relevant because it turns out that they are nanobots powered by the Chaos Emerald energy, and so therefore give off the same energy as a Chaos Emerald, so that they can just spread the Fireflies out to mask their escape, because the Metarex were using the Chaos Emerald to track them. Which makes me wonder,
Sure.
what the fuck are the Fireflies for?
That's a very good
black
question.
They don't do anything except throw off scanners.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how in Harry Potter follow the spiders? Well, in this case, it's follow the fireflies.
Kinda, yeah. But man, one of the big themes of these episodes of Sonic X is the Metarex just feels so pathetic. Like, they always have these super awesome designs that look very intimidating, yet as soon as they get into action, they're completely useless. I mean, in this episode, I don't think they get to do anything. Like, again, Cream just easily beats them up, and even Chris gets a badass scene. Like, it's almost a joke. I mean, it doesn't really become funny until the last episode we're going to talk about.
Someone in the chat say, nanomachines, son.
Nanomachine, son.
Yeah. Standing here, I realize.
Yeah.
If only all your American senators were like that.
TV show, why are you allowed to do things?
Oh yeah, then with the Metarex in this episode, they're kind of these weird half robot, half snake-like bodies. So it's like, yes, before there was Lyric from Sonic Boom, there was these guys.
Kinda, yeah. But their
He
ending is
looks
so
so
ambiguous, it's
badass.
weird. I mean, you see them all fighting, Sonic suddenly gets this psychopathic smile, becomes white, and then this hard cut to them outside. Man, when they saw Sonic chilling in the sun, I was almost expecting him to be covered in blood and guts. Like, what did he just do with those bad guys?
He just banished them all to the Shadow Realm.
I guess so. Because it's very clearly implied he murdered them all. Except I just quickly cut away. I was like, I know Sonic's just in the sun. So don't worry about it, kids.
Yeah. Death to all!
It was a very violent-friendly death. Don't worry. It's perfectly fine.
Gosh,
Speaking of,
looking at the snake guy, I just had that bloody flashback to the bloody Freedom Planet game with the snake
Oh
guy.
yeah, that one guy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Sure, that too. But yeah, man, the
But,
Metarex, they have such cool and intimidating designs, but they're such a joke every single time they show up. Except for the main bad guy who had one cool scene in the first episodes. But every single time all the other Metarex come up, they're always like a joke and I'm going to get punched away. Like, okay, you're not doing a very good job building him up as a scary threat, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously just reminding of, like, with the Fleetway characters, like, such cool, intimidating looking designs for, like, baddies, and yet they just get easily beaten in a comical death.
Pretty much, yeah. Although at
But,
least if
speaking
Fleetway
of,
gets some kind of focus here, they don't even get focus. Sorry,
Speaking
yes.
of 4Kids censoring things, there was a lot in this episode for some reason.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, so when Cream mentions that Cosmo looks sad, like, Chris mentions in the Japanese version, he mentions that, like, revenge doesn't, like, really bring you happiness or something like that. In the 4Kids one, Chris is just talking about how lonely she must be without family. And
that was another.
Yes.
That was another interesting thing where it seemed like in the Japanese version there was that whole bit with Chris and Cream and was it? Yeah, they briefly talk about Shadow, but I think that only happens in the Japanese version, which is kind of odd.
There's
Rubbing salt in the wound, Chris foreign dick.
there's a couple of entirely removed scenes. Another one is like Cosmo opening up to Tails about her insecurities and stuff. Just completely removed in the 4Kids dub.
Kind of makes
Or
sense.
he's
It was
like-
such a Japanese scene. It always made me heard. Like,
Yeah.
you have to believe in your friends, and then you can be.
There was also the scene where Tails was downloading all of the data from the Metarex computer. They removed the English text from Tails' watch for no reason.
Oh yeah, they always do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a typical 4Kids thing. They always got to remove the perfect English stuff.
Yeah, for
Sonic and more
international
international, I
audiences.
guess.
Yeah, international audience.
Even though they probably don't care, but whatever. But yeah, that scene at the beginning almost made me laugh so hard because indeed they remind you of like, oh, Cosmo had revenge against the one who murdered her friend, her family. She got to kill the Metarex back, and then Chris kind of talks about like he had a similar experience himself. It's like, yeah, I know from personal experience it doesn't make you happier. It's like, Chris, did you murder someone too? Like, what are you implying here, buddy?
I guess he
No,
must have
Astro
murdered.
did.
I guess he must have murdered Chalkboard Charlie once he got older, and that's why we never see him throughout season 3. Although I'm pretty sure.
Aw, poor guys. But yeah, do we
Although
want to
Cos-
say anything about the flashback? Because we suddenly got a flashback of Cosmo and her female family.
Yeah, we get more world building with Cosmo's past. Yeah.
They're
Just the way you said that, female family. It's
Well, that's an explicit point, isn't there? That there's only females. It's going to be a plot point later.
I think there is an explanation, but it'll happen much later.
it's true. You don't see a dad in the show for Cosmo. What happened?
He went to get some cigarettes and never returned.
Dun dun dun.
Well, no, he got the cigarettes, but he just caught a light.
He met up with Cream's dad, and they went on adventures together.
The Galactic
Speaking of
Adventures.
that, we're making fun of Vanilla constantly being called Cream's mom, and then later we see information on Cosmo's sister, and she's also literally just called Cosmo's sister. She doesn't have the name of her own. That's okay.
Oh, she had a name.
She had a name? Because she got like this commercial break screen where you get all information on her, and it just says her name is just Cosmo's sister, literally.
Let's
When in doubt, which
Oh,
is your friend?
Yeah, I'm just looking up the wiki, and it seems like she's referred to as Galaxina. So maybe that's only in the English dub. I can't remember.
Possibly, yeah. I don't recall it in this episode being said.
Galaxy.
Oh wait, here's the info. In the original Japanese version, she has no name. She was referred to as Onisama, which is big sister in Japanese. So yeah, I guess that was an English dub thing there.
All right, makes sense. But yeah, man, the Japanese are really terrible at world building. I was like, oh, it's just Cosmo's sister. Oh, it's just Vanilla. It's just Cream's mother. Don't worry about it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's just location that is relevant to main character. Can't probably be bothered giving it a real name.
Yeah, like what happened to poor Vanilla, just being labelled
Yeah.
as Cream's mother.
And especially with the recent game where the conductor's wife is just called the conductor's wife.
But in case you were worried, Roger, there are males of Cosmos species, and we do see Cosmos' father eventually. Something very bad happened to him.
Yeah. And not just for the cigarettes.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he ran out of
he got
cigarettes.
he got lung cancer from the cigarettes.
All right, looking forward to that then. All right. Anything more to say about this episode?
Only the well, I suppose for me, like the one thing I didn't like when I was watching the episode, I was not really watching it that properly. So when I saw like Chris basically just like defeating the Meta-X, I was like, didn't see the gun, so somehow I thought he did some specialized secret skill with like that he learned back on Earth, like sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and I was
Like
just
his
like,
butler taught
wait,
him
what?
the nerve and neck pinch or something.
must have. 'Cause
Yeah,
I didn't
fucking-
notice the gun in that shot when he was like blowing.
It doesn't
I thought he was
really
just,
look
I
like
thought he
a
was
gun
literally just
anyway.
blowing his fingers.
Yeah, but again,
he's
look at it. It
doing-
doesn't really look like a gun.
Yeah, blowing his fingers. Yeah, he's doing Heavy's taunt from Team Fortress 2. The taunt kill there. Yeah. Pow! Haha!
But yeah, it is kind of weird to see Chris and Cream as part of the attack team like that. So he's just straight up killing the Meta-X. How nice.
The unlikely pairings.
Indeed.
May never happen again.
Oh yes.
Just look at this picture of Cream. It's the last thing you're going to see before your horrible death.
Oh my god!
I'm just reminded of that weird movie like Wild Wild West where they had this invention where you can, when someone is dead, you can like scan their eyes and see the last thing they saw before they die.
Oh yeah.
And then it would be funny if they just saw this. Cream throwing a chow at them. Like if this whole group pile of corpses and all of this is
Yeah.
the final vision.
Yeah, she just throws a chow and they're just like, evil blue beach ball, my only weakness.
Funny.
Catch it. Catch the beach ball.
Aha, comedy.
Guess
But
we'll
yeah,
move on
it's-
to the next.
Just one more thing to say that, this episode sets up the whole deal of Tails and Cosmo starting to have feelings for each other in a way.
Yeah, surprised it took so long. But yeah, they're setting up their relation. Two of them both have self-confidence problems. They're made for each other.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah, one's mildly inconsistent and the other's a plant.
Perfect. Well, Tails is
They
not that
still correct.
inconsistent in Sonic X. I guess you're talking about.
Yeah,
modern
that's
games.
true. Yeah, I was talking more about that quote that he made in Frontiers. Yeah. And I'm wildly inconsistent, which, I don't know, in some ways I kind of feel like that's more of a lazy get-out-of-jail-free card on the writer's part, but, what do I know?
Yeah, it feels more like an IOU for the future, but oh well.
Feels more like just a band-aid on some bad writing.
I guess so.
They're like, because they're like, we gotta acknowledge the fact that was inconsistent.
Yeah, which is interesting, because if I had to do it, I would just completely write Sonic Forces non-canon, and that's it.
And it's such a
And
shame
yeah,
because
but they're
Sonic Forces
obviously
has a
trying not
perfect.
to.
Sorry, Sala, go ahead.
I said, yeah, but obviously they're trying not to do that.
Yeah, that would be a bit too much. But it's so frustrating because Sonic Forces has a perfectly fine reason why Tails could be cowardly. Just write it that he's been worn down by the war that's been going on for months, and there you go. It's just like he's already cowardly at the beginning of the game, and they never really. Well, whatever. Let's not
And of
go on
course-
a rant for Sonic Frontier for Forces now. Sorry.
And of course, it doesn't help that the reason with Tails being out of the group is because of some translation error. It's like, oh, Tails has lost it. Next scene, oh, he's perfectly fine.
When you consider that Tails has taken on Chaos before in an earlier form, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that man, Chaos in that game was such a bitch slap to the adventure fans.
It doesn't even do anything. Oh well, at least someone is working on a mod where that stuff gets fixed.
La base de Metarex.
Yeah, screenshots are from website Team RW because I'm lazy. So they're all from the French version, I guess.
At least that actually has text. On Hulu, they removed the titles. So it's like, oh, giant rock with Sonic Space. And that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hello, tall, mustachioed, and handsome.
Although I've heard the Japanese complete series on Blu-ray. I've heard they fixed that, so it does have the subtitles in there. But yeah, I'll have to get my hands on that one day.
I guess so. Anyway, who wants to do the synopsis of the episode of La Base de Meteric?
La Beste Metalex.
Almost.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, might as well I do it, I guess. So we start with Dr. Eggman for a change, who's following the signals of the Gale's Emerald. And he discovers it's probably in some sort of a big fortress in space. Surprisingly, we follow him instead of Sonic, but for a good reason, because we soon discover that Sonic himself is also hanging out close by. And they decide to have a truce with each other. So because apparently this fortress is very well armed, they throw a rock at it, immediately gets blown up. So Eggman is like, okay, I'm going to have to work with Sonic together on this. Although it's very hinted that he actually had a plan on his own, but it's because Rouge is there and he's expecting her to backstab him that he's kind of like trying to have a 3D chess moment going on where he sets up a lot of plans at the same time to try to get to Gale's Emeralds, because this is the final spot, it's the final place. If they finally get to Gale's Emeralds here, all 7 are together. So this is going to be the big scene where they all try to backstab each other, but at first they have to work together, so they call up Sonic. They set up a plan that one team is going to be a distraction, Sonic is to be a distraction, and Shadow, Rouge, and one of theirs would go inside to turn the security off. And Chris decides to be the one of their team to go along with Shadow Rouge, probably as an attempt not to backstab each other, that they have to work together like that. I'm terrible at doing synopsis.
Chris, I know you're trying to look cool in front of Sonic and his friends, but
Well, to be fair, he had a proper reason, because he wanted to bring back Shadow's rings, his energy stopping rings. What were they called again?
Inhibitor rings.
Inhibitor rings. Yeah.
Because he still had them from Shadow's sacrifice, so that's why you want to talk about it. I kind of like that they really put more focus here on them actually talking to Shadow and try to help him through his memory loss. That was frustrating me in the Shadow game. They never really talked about it at all, so they kind of have a bit of a chat here. But anyway, Rouge is just manipulating them to try and get away and steal the Gale's Emeralds. So she's starting to bring up Maria just to get Shadow all kind of completely broken down and having those all horrible flashbacks. Almost feels like a parody scene. Poor Shadow. But yeah, so Rouge is just throwing member berries at him. Oh, remember this, remember that, just to get everyone freaking down, break down so she can steal stuff. But then we get introduced to the big bad guy of this episode. Oh no, the new Metarex. The big, giant, intimidating-looking T-Rexes. They're so strong and scary, and Rouge immediately kills them in 5 seconds. So just immediately, all their friends is immediately gone again.
Yeah, Sonic X, Jurassic Park edition.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Metarex.
But
Metarex,
really,
all style, no substance.
every single time you see a new Metarex, it looks very intimidating, and for a moment, like, oh man, this is gonna be really dangerous, and then they immediately kill them in 5 seconds. Like, oh no.
Yeah, look at that. They look amazing. Like a new Transformer.
They look pretty awesome. Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
they're brought up like they're the main villain of this episode, and I think they only show up for 5 seconds or something and really get killed off. I mean, they get Rouge pinned down for a brief second, but that doesn't last very long.
Well, I guess Mello now has someone in common.
Makes me wonder if they were like not really fighters, but just more sort of like maintenance robots, considering the fact that their mouths and hands are basically pliers.
Oh yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But then again, this is supposed to be like an army base, and yet you barely feel it like it. They just walk around empty corridors. It's just those 4 T-Rex, and that's about it. Like, I was really surprised how easy it goes. Like, they turn on the security in 5 seconds. Sorry, Melting Man, go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, oh, so they're robots that look like dinosaurs, and they're on a spaceship. And I'm like, I wonder if Doctor Who took any inspiration from this. You know, dinosaurs on a spaceship!
Why not? Anyway, yeah, so the big race begins. Apparently, Amy has her own spaceship now, too. I don't remember that being set up in the previous episodes. But yeah, Amy has a spaceship, Sonic has a spaceship with Knuckles, and Eggman flies behind him on his ship. But early on in the episode, he sabotaged them by installing stuff at it. Well, he just had a random visit where he kind of pretending to be friendly for no reason. Even though I was kind of surprised because it felt so obviously. I was expecting Sonic to double-cross Eggman on top of that. But no, he did actually catch them off guard. Anyway, Eggman managed to turn off their flying ships and take control over them so they can steal the Gale's Emeralds back from them. I have no idea why Sonic and friends keep bringing the Gale's Emeralds along with them. If they just stayed on the main ship, it wouldn't be a problem, but for whatever
Well, don't
reason.
they usually need the Chaos Emeralds to power up their ships and whatnot, like, you know, what the X-Tornado usually does?
I'm not sure
Well, they
because...
don't need them to do that.
Yeah, because the ships keep working after the Emeralds are stolen. I mean, I guess Eggman later implies it makes him more stronger, but...
But also, Knuckles was using one of the Chaos Emeralds to help find the other two.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough.
That's good enough reason to bring one of them, but not the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, Sonic is flying very roughly. Knuckles is kind of scared. Well, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, yeah, it's so... Knuckles... I'm lost. I'm terrible at synopsises. Why don't you guys do it? Anyway, to get into
Sonic
big...
X Star Trek.
What is it?
Sonic X Star Trek. Sonic
Yeah, Star
being
Trek.
unable to fly. And
There you go. Anyway, to get in a big tube where the Gale's Emeralds is all the way at the top, but Dr. Eggman takes over Sonic's ship and makes them crash. That's pretty much it. They get up, but Knuckles just throws Sonic back at Eggman and knocks him out and knocks Eggman all the way down again. They get to the top. They discover that Planet X are being turned into special things, but we don't know quite yet. What yet? And then the surprise villain shows up. To be continued. Oh, and Amy kills Sonic. So that's my synopsis. There you go.
Yeah.
so it wasn't SPO, it wasn't the train, it was Amy who killed Sonic.
There you go. That's why she was so happy when she found Sonic's corpse in that game.
Oh, yeah. But of course, only in the Japanese version. Ha ha.
Yeah, this thing was deleted in the American version? Oh,
No, I was just making a joke.
You see, everyone, it all links together.
But there was a scene that was deleted from the English version, and that was Eggman testing out the fortress's security by throwing the rock. And then when he sees the security, he just immediately gives up. Yeah, and in the 4Kids one, it's just they look at the fortress, and then suddenly they see the Blue Typhoon.
Oh.
Oh, hi, Tails. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Pretty much.
I did like something in this episode. It's the usual Sonic main character thing, where like Eggman proposes the alliance. Literally everyone is opposed to it. Even Knuckles is like, I don't trust him right now. And Sonic's like, we're gonna have to, and everyone's like, fine.
Yeah, especially when there's that one moment where Amy's like, "Oh, Knuckles, don't trust Eggman." It's like, what are you looking at me for?
Hello, you're Knuckles. You believe everything.
But yeah, everyone was so opposed to it. But the second Sonic says that they should do it, everyone's on board. Of course.
He's everyone's god emperor, I guess.
He's the Jesus Norris Hedgehog of the leader.
There you
Because
go.
Sonic is the perfect moral compass. Sonic is always right.
Yeah, he's the leader of the bunch. You know him
You
well.
know him too.
But
There
does
was
this
also
mean that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so, there was also like with the scene of Chris giving Shadow his inhibitor ring back. He mentions that he made the other one because he only had one, and Shadow was missing two.
Yeah, that's
So-
weird. Yeah, I don't think that was. I think that was an English dub thing. I don't recall it being mentioned in the Japanese version.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's like they took the same scene but like chopped it up into both versions. So like the English dub, they explain, "Oh, Chris created the other inhibitor ring," and then you have the Japanese version where they explain how Shadow is like weaker without his inhibitor ring, so that's why Chris is giving them to him.
Huh, that makes more
You
sense.
mean you made my other inhibitor ring, the other one that I've had forever?
Yeah, and it turns out it's an engagement ring. If I can't have Sonic, then I'll have you.
Nobody can tell us the difference anyway. Hey, but
Shadow,
since
but
Omega...
darling.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So that means that somewhere out there on Chris's home world, there is Shadow's other inhibitor ring just somewhere.
Yeah, it got lost in the laundry. Yeah.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
And all the washing machines come to life again or something. But anyway, since Omega doesn't exist as Sonic X, does that mean Chris is now the official third Team Dark member? Because
Oh,
he
no.
keeps being teamed up with Shadow and Rouge.
Oh dear.
Oh
me.
dear.
Well, it's true,
That's
isn't it?
exactly what Chris needs: a third character to replace.
But yeah, one thing I noticed, like, of how, like, every time, like, Chris says, like, we are going to do this, and yet all Sonic does is just praise Chris. He doesn't say, like, well done, guys. It's like, well done, Chris. Like, Sonic, don't give Chris an ego boost. We don't need that right now.
No.
Yeah.
And because everyone
Also-
else can't disagree with Sonic, or because you can't say no to him, he'll do his own thing. They're like, fine, we'll just listen to what he says.
Yeah.
Let Chris be in charge.
Otherwise, he's gonna cry. We don't need more
Yeah.
of those scenes.
Because we all know that with Chris, it's like, oh, I want to impress Sonic with my skills so I can show him his new shoes. Yeah, threw you off there, didn't I?
You got
Yeah,
it.
sure did.
Terrible jokes.
Cheeky you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
since,
more mindless shenanigans.
oh, yeah, since you brought it up in the story description, yeah, in this episode, it's revealed, like, oh, Amy has a spaceship now, and I think the Japanese dub, they briefly mentioned, like, oh, it's just brand new and whatnot, but not in the English dub. It's like, oh, yeah, now Amy suddenly has a ship.
Yep, comes out of
Gotta
nowhere.
sell some toys.
Doesn't really have a purpose other than so Eggman has another Gale Thermal to steal, I guess.
Nah, it's for it's for toy marketing. Like, oh, the adventures of Sonic and their spaceships, collect them all.
Did they ever
should have
sell
toys.
spaceship toys? I think Sonic X toys were rare anyway.
Well, not spaceship toys. I know there was a moment where they sold like Sonic X toys with like Sonic and the gang dressed up in these weird spacesuits with like staffs that had the Chaos Emeralds on top of them. Even though that never happened in the series.
I do have a Knuckles space version for Sonic Boom. I didn't know they had for Sonic X too.
Oh.
Oh well.
Let's. Oh yeah, I just found the image of it. Well, the Sonic one anyway. But yeah, they didn't market the spaceships, but they did market Chaos Emerald staff thingies.
Oh yeah, those things.
Yeah, which I'm sure nowadays costs like $800 nowadays.
Because we really need a more built-up version of Sonic wearing a suit,
Yeah.
whilst having a Chaos Emerald on top of his staff, so it could be like, I have the power.
Yeah, going all He-Man there.
Oh well, but of course, there's only one.
I
Sonic...
also
Yeah, go ahead.
I also need to report, because now I'm actually paying attention to this, but in the Japanese version, Dark Oak says "Long time no see."
Yeah. Long time no see, Sonic the Hedgehog. End credits.
Long time no see.
Remains a classic. So
Ah.
another new one discovered.
Yep. And funny enough, in the next episode, there is one in the Japanese version and one in the 4Kids version.
Oh yeah,
Said by
that was
said by different characters.
yeah, that was very interesting there. Yeah.
So even when I disagree who and where, there still is going to be one. There's got to be a long
Yep.
time no see.
Long time no see.
Yeah. You're like, oh hey, long time no see. I just saw you yesterday, asshole.
It's the Sonic universe. It's just the way they greet each other. Local custom.
That
Right.
joke's run its course indeed.
Yeah, I might as well just say, like, with the animation quality of 63, it was like obviously been boosted up for this specific episode, even though part of me is kind of wondering why though.
It is a two-parter, but yeah, it doesn't not much happens in it. Although it's kind of fun to have like a race between Eggman and Sonic and all that. But
Yeah,
very little
and then-
seemed to happen in this episode.
But yeah, I mean, like, because when I just saw like how good the animation was, and then I saw like the next time on Sonic X, I just saw like how much downgraded the animation got. It's like, ugh.
Oh, especially the wonderful shot of a giant Sonic head, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
yeah, bobblehead Sonic. Yeah.
Okay, shall we move on to the next episode?
I guess I want to briefly talk about like Rouge and how she's forced to pair up with Shadow and Chris because she knows that Robotnik knows that she would like go off and do her thing to try and get the Chaos Emeralds. So it's kind of funny. Like one of the things she tries to do is throw off Shadow by like, oh hey, remember that time we all went to Prison Island, and brings up Maria and everything, and then Shadow starts dealing with brain damage and whatnot, but it's kind of weird. Like the whole deal, it's like, oh, I'm working for the doctor so I can get my memories back. And like, yeah, well, Rouge kind of already did it for you. That's all you really need. I mean, do you need more brain surgery or something?
Probably.
But yeah, so it kind of makes me feel like, oh yeah, Rouge is predicting the future of Sonic, where the characters are only mentioning like past events and never actually showing them.
It was a kind of interesting scene, yeah. That he just randomly starts bringing up memories. That did feel like a parody of a member berries now.
Yeah.
No, remember when I went and did this and did that?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, remember that time I punched a robot and then I punched another robot?
Good times. Especially how the Shadow immediately gets a mental breakdown. It is a perfect clip to use if you want to make fun of that cliche. All the endless references. Could easily make a Sonic Frontiers parody out of it. Remember Sticks? Remember Marine? Shut up.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, remember that time Roger Craig Smith trolled the Sonic fan base about leaving the franchise? Yeah.
Good times.
Oh dear. Next episode?
Next episode.
Next
Do
episode.
it. Do it.
Do it now.
Just
Do
about
it.
to have technical difficulties.
Really technical issues right now.
Do it now.
How dare you have technical issues, Roger?
It's because...
know.
Why would you do this?
Oh, and Flash is gone. I thought that would happen.
Oh.
That's the problem of using screenshots from Team Artel. There were a little too... 3 episodes is a little too much for Flash to handle.
I think this is the first time this has happened, well, with the episode screenshots anyway.
Yeah, because this is the first time I didn't make them myself, but just use from the website because I'm lazy. And I immediately get punished for it.
Shame on you.
So, yeah, just anyone wants to talk about their day? Well, I'm screwing around but trying to get this working?
Well, I could briefly talk about how recently I felt like getting Conquer Live and Reloaded on Xbox, because I just kind of figured, well, I play the original via emulation because there's no way I'm gonna waste like $1,000 on an original cartridge, so I might as well give the remake a more legit playthrough on the Xbox.
All right, nice. Enjoyed it.
I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but I definitely remember that when it came out during its prime, people just tore it to shreds, and it was all because they heavily censored the cursing.
And that's for Xbox. Who would have thought a Nintendo had more cursing than an Xbox game?
Yeah.
They censored the cursing? Well, fuck that.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the original had censoring, but it was only like a few words, like fuck and whatnot. But yeah, in the remake, they censored a lot more. So, you know, I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my at you.
Yeah, because originally
Oh,
it was going
dear.
to be called Conquer Live and Uncut, where once you beat the game first time round, it basically uncensors everything. But for some reason, they ended up having to remove that option, so that's why the Xbox version is still like heavily censored.
Yeah, I've heard about them trying to do uncut version with all that, but they never did, even with Rare Replay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Melts entertain us with the Great Mighty Pooh song?
No, the screenshots already worked. We can continue the
Okay.
next episode. No shame.
Show off my amazing operatic singing.
Okay,
Someday.
You can sing the
someday.
Sonic X theme song.
Only the Japanese version, because fuck that gotta go fast song.
Or what about
Gotta
the
go faster,
UK
faster,
version?
faster, faster, faster.
Yeah.
The UK version just simply being Sonic X, Sonic X, Sonic, Sonic X.
I've never heard the UK version.
But oh well.
Classic.
Let's continue.
Who wants to do the
Just what is
synopsis of our exciting finale and our introduction to the evil rats general whatever?
I'd rather
Sonic contrasado.
because I only just because I only literally watched the episode just before the stream started. So, and of
So
course
did I,
I was
that's
still rushing through it, skimming through it because it's like
I guess I can do the episode synopsis in song. No, not really.
Yeah, the tune of the poop song.
Alright. Alright, so yeah, episode synopsis. So, right, so we leave off where we left off, where the Dark Oak is like, Sonic, no, long time no see. Now prepare to die. So this big battle happens, and they realize the whole thing was a trap. So, like, the entire space station and all their shells are surrounded by the Metal X ships that are getting ready to blow them up. And Eggman's trying to contact Shadow's like, Shadow, abort the mission, we've been had. So they're trying to escape, and Shadow decides to leave Chris behind, but of course Chris jumps in to join in with the Chaos Control, and they end up on Robotnik's ship. Meanwhile, Sonic and the gang are fighting for their lives, while Cosmo's trying to get the Chaos Emeralds that were being used to upgrade the planet's core into something more powerful. But yes, while that's going on, Robotnik teases Chris. It's like, oh, you're just a kid, ha ha ha. But then Chris is like, yeah, well, I'm actually more mature in my planet. It's just weird age difference. So he pulls out a smoke bomb, and so during that commotion, he quickly grabs the Chaos Emeralds and runs out. And while that's going on, Sonic and his friends are continuing to fight, and it's revealed that after the Chaos Emeralds were taken when Cosmo grabbed them, the Planet Egg is, like, dispatched. So they're like, alright, we're gonna blow up the planet now. So, this place will be your grave, even if our Metal X soldiers are there. So, so time's ticking, and Chris hijacks one of Robotnik's ships and tries to make it back to Sonic and the gang, but then gets attacked by Shadow, and so he tries to leave the ship, and then gets picked up by Rouge. It's like, hey kid, can you give me those emeralds? Like, no, I can't. It's like, oh well, it sucks to be you, and then just drops him. And then suddenly, Knuckles is still there, because he hasn't figured out how to fly the X-Tornado. So fortunately, he has Chris that can help him get him there. So all that fighting's going on, and it all boils down to, Chris making it to the gang. He throws the Chaos Emeralds to Sonic, but then Shadow goes there, and since coincidentally all the Chaos Emeralds are there, we have Sonic, Super Sonic, and Super Shadow transforming, where they begin to fight and chase around a bit. And during all the commotion, it somehow created a black hole that consumes all the ships and debris and everything. And so Shadow decides to stop fighting and uses Chaos Control to teleport Eggman's spaceship and everyone there to safety. And I think the same happens with Sonic or something. I don't know. Like the Blue Typhoon shows up. It's like, oh, Sonic's like, oh, hey. And then we just see the Blue Typhoon leave. And then the Dark Oak is like, so two people can harness the power of light. Very interesting. And then it ends.
I love that you never brought up the main villain.
Oh yeah, he's just Red Pine. Yeah, he's just there. So I kind of forgot that sets up a whole subplot.
This is our big introduction to the main villain, and he doesn't do anything, and he gets killed by accident by the end.
That's how forgettable he is.
This Meteorix is so pathetic. I love it.
Yeah,
it's not even on purpose.
Yeah, I completely forgot to bring up the whole subplot that they set up. It's like, I am Red Pine. I am one of the 4, Metal X bosses that I have to defeat, like in Mega Man or whatever.
It's like a parody. It's like, this is my cartoon here. Like, has this big introduction, he doesn't do anything, and he just gets sucked up and dies. Like, okay.
Yeah. Wee!
I especially love the fact that why did he die? Because Super Sonic and Shadow didn't even purposely do anything. They just destroyed the station. Except Red Pine himself also was going to destroy the station. So even if he did succeed, the same thing would have happened. He would still die. So he was already killing himself already.
Well, I think the deal was that Red Pine was on a different ship, and his main goal was just blowing up the planet itself. And then once that's done, he'll just go back to his boss, and that's it. But of course, thanks to the whole super fight, then he gets sucked into that black hole thing, and that's it.
But if he just blew up the planet, that black hole would also appear, right? So he was doomed to die anyway, regardless.
God.
Red
Pine, more like Red Dying.
Red idiot.
Hey.
This is our big introduction to the
Red Pine.
But that's not the only pathetic villain, because then we have the mooks of this episode, which also get its dramatic introduction. I paid attention to all your fights, and these are all programmed to know all your attacks, so they're the perfect enemy. And then 100 attacks Sonic, and he immediately punches all of them away in one hit. It's like... Those books, they're so pathetic. Like, you keep giving them all these dramatic entrances, and yet Sonic and Francis beat them up in one hit all the time.
Stupid Meteorix, you activated my angry form.
Yeah, it doesn't help that he's using, the most basic common enemies. They're like the shadows of the group. Yeah. Well, shadows of the hearts, yeah.
The Heartless?
Yeah, the Heartless, yeah.
Oh my god, Roger, you are not ready for the silver and gold Meteorix.
They're more pathetic? Oh, this is gonna be great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, you just have to wait and see. It's amazing.
Yeah. Something to look forward to, yeah.
But I will say not
the bronze.
I will say not all Meteorix are gonna be this much of a pushover. Yellow Zelkova is a badass.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But so far they haven't done a very good job. Well, Dark Oak, I guess, but everyone else has been a joke so far.
Yeah, I guess this is the... Because I just realized after going through these episodes, I'm like, we're kind of at the halfway point with Season 3. So I guess the first half, they're all pathetic, and then the next half, like, alright, we get our shit together. Now we're really tough and powerful. Or something, I don't know.
It's funny because Sonic X ends up being the opposite I thought, because when I went into this again, I remember Sonic X as being like, the whole episode is one fight. It's a robot enemy that nobody can hit, and it's just endless fighting, and then Sonic comes into the end and kills them in one hit. Well, I was right with that regard. Sonic does kill everyone with one hit, but now it's just hundreds of mooks that show up and immediately get punched by everyone. Although I do love the other characters also get a lot of screen time. Yep.
Yeah. You remember it all being more cool or...
No, not so much cooler or more boring. I thought it was more like Power Rangers, but Sonic X ends up being way more dynamic than I thought. So that's good. But yeah, I have to bring up Sonic's giant head in this shot. It was very...
Hey, Chris, I turned myself into a bobblehead.
I mean, normally I don't bring up animation mistakes because my own animation is 100 times worse. But even I noticed this, then you really screwed up. Especially how long it's on screen, too. Get a big, nice close-up.
Yeah, fear the wrath of my giant noggin.
Headbutt.
Oh yeah, he's going all Bonk. He's going all like cosplaying as Bonk from the video game Bonk.
There you go.
So there was a funny kind of moment I thought where like Chris is like following Shadow or whatever, and like he falls down the hole, and Rouge catches him, and she's like, "Oh, I'll save you if you give me the Chaos Emerald," and he's like, "No." So she just drops him,
That was
and
pretty
it
cool.
just so
Oh, perfect.
happens. It
Perfect.
just so happens that he lands on Knuckles, who can't fly the ship. So,
Yeah, he catches Chris from falling. Yeah.
so that if Rouge hadn't done that, if Rouge had like dropped him anywhere else, both him and Knuckles would have died.
Rouge would have killed someone, yes.
Yeah, but no, instead we had Knuckles saving Chris's life. And that was the day when Euan decided that Knuckles was his least favorite character.
But kind of interesting how both Shadow and Rouge tried to kill Chris this episode. So even though Chris himself might be the third member of Team Dark, but the Team Dark constantly tries to kill him. So that's good.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Shadow leaving Chris behind, Rouge
Yeah.
dropping Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
loving all the Chris abuse this episode.
Yeah.
'Cause even when I saw Knuckles just grabbing him, I was like, why Knuckles? I mean, just let him drop. No one's going
Why?
to miss him.
Yeah, in some ways, this whole episode was just a big cock tease for you.
Exactly. Like,
I wanted one
come on,
thing.
Shadow, kill him. No.
Yeah.
No, then Rouge just snaps like, why Rouge? And then like drops him down like in the pits, like yes. And then like Knuckles gets it, like, ugh.
Yeah, but then Knuckles would have died.
That's true.
Nah, I'm sure he would have gotten out somehow.
Yeah. Just, glide to the nearest wall with his spike gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
because they could all breathe in space. Well, except
Yeah.
Chris,
All
which
the
makes me
animals.
wonder how he survives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
Is
the other
this,
thing we forgot to mention. Like, oh, yeah, when Robotnik's, like, flying over to Tails and Sonic, when he's put those tracking devices on him, he's, like, the only one wearing a space helmet. But, of course, Chris never does, because he does it via Chaos Control.
So I guess there's air in the station itself, but for some reason,
Guess the matter
Yeah.
of
Does
reason.
this,
it's not like the Metarex need oxygen.
Yeah.
does this season ever answer like why Chris is able to go out into space and
He
Breathe?
doesn't.
No, usually he has a... There's been a few episodes before where he's wearing a spacesuit, but yeah.
what, including right now, they're like
Well-
half inside a space station.
Well, I mean,
I didn't-
obviously
I didn't
there's
get
some form of like atmosphere inside the actual fortress, but considering the amount of holes everyone's making, I'm surprised Chris hasn't died yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprised no one got sucked out of those air... Yeah.
So,
Oh, geez.
because we know Chris can't breathe in space, we have to assume there's an atmosphere in the station for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What can I tell? Everyone wants to kill Chris, and yet the universe bends over backwards to make him survive everything. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
I know
It's a
never
cruel,
fair.
cruel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Sonic's world, Chris can somehow still survive.
Mm.
So I mentioned, because I'm keeping track, it's funny that in this episode, in the same scene, like, Eggman is the one who says "Long time no see" in the dub to Chris, and Chris says it to Eggman in the Japanese version.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was a interesting change there.
Bringing it around.
Yeah, I guess in the I guess in the German version, it's Bo Koon that says "Long time no see."
Then again, not too much of a surprise. You know, Chris, he always has to steal everyone's lines and roll, so I guess he's stole it.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's gonna be singing that stupid song in one of the episodes.
Why not?
Unless it's the Japanese version. Yeah.
Good
And I
times.
suppose the only other thing I want to mention about this episode is that Amy's spaceship has a hammer.
That was pretty awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
The most random feature, but an effective one.
Useful. I managed to save Sonic through that.
Yeah.
For some reason, this image right here is very funny to me.
Because Eggman's
Just
poking
Rouge.
his nose, or what?
Well, no,
Oh, the one
that's
of
low quality.
Rouge and Chris.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
low quality
Looking
one of where they're
insane.
just like going, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Although
I have
Roger
to-
might be a while before Roger rediscovers it again.
Oh, yeah.
too many
Well, with the whole...
screenshots.
So for the
Oh, yeah,
time
with the-
being, we'll just look at Eggman scratching his nose, or at least attempting to pick it
Yeah.
without Chris noticing.
Speaking of which, I think there's a bit of like, I feel like there's a bit of like way differences of how the lines are delivered. Because like in the US, the whole scene's kind of played up with Robotnik teasing Chris, like, "Oh, you're just a kid, ha ha ha." But I think in the Japanese version, it's played a lot more straight, so it's less of Robotnik teasing him. It's like, it's like, "Oh, I came here. I'm more matured back to my plans." Like, "Oh, then how did you change to your younger self?" Like, well, there's reasons.
I hated the Japanese version because it was such a cliche anime thing where he has the whole speech against Eggman. Now I'm mature, and now I believe in my friends, and now blah blah blah. Why does Eggman care about this?
Oh yeah, that's another thing in the Japanese version. The Metalex keep referencing like, "Oh, we'll like harness the power of light." Oh, they're doing the power of light. It's like, okay, we're suddenly getting into Kingdom Hearts territory now.
Yep.
Next thing you know, Dark Oak's gonna be showing up in the next episode, just constantly yelling "darkness." Yeah, darkety dark darkness. Accept the darkness, Sonic.
Sure hope so.
Darkness wrapped in darkness, like a darkness burrito.
Darkness
To
within
redo,
awaits you.
to redo one of my very old lines from years back, darkness of dark hardness. Your heart is filled with darkness of dark heartness, darkness heart. I'll stop.
Darkety dark darkness.
Darkety dark dark.
And then sprinkled with darkness.
Oh yeah, the Metarex will love all that.
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, should we just keep this screenshot up for the rest of the stream then? So this sums it all up. This is all we need.
Yeah.
What on earth did we just see, Rouge?
I did have one more note about this episode, but I realize it's a spoiler, so I won't talk about it.
Dun dun dun. All right. But yeah, still, I love it. This is our first introduction to the first main villain, and the fight between Super Sonic and Super Shadow gets all the attention, while the villain just dies.
Ties me.
I contributed absolutely nothing.
Poor Red Pine.
We hardly knew you. Now he's just in the Shadow Realm next to Mello and the others.
Say hi to Mello the Bee for me, yeah.
But I love it, the fact that he's such a big, epic, intimidating ship and immediately gets sucked in and explodes while everyone else is just hanging around in space and has no problem at all. Guess everyone else's ships are 100 times better than their stupid ship.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so like Eggman's ship gets sucked into the black hole, but Super Shadow flies down and uses Chaos Control to warp it out at the last second. But the Blue Typhoon is just fine. He don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, speaking of which, there seems to be a bit of confusion of how, like, who actually has the Chaos Emeralds, because, like, during the whole fight, Shadow's like, "Oh, Sonic, give me those Chaos Emeralds!" "Oh, no way!" And then at the end, Shadow uses Chaos Control to teleport Eggman's ship to someplace safe, and that's when he loses his superpowers. And then we see the Chaos Emeralds fall into that void, but then suddenly Super Sonic is still super, and it's like, okay, how does that work? Like, if they fell into that void, then technically that would mean Shadow does own the Chaos Emeralds, he just didn't know.
I'm really
Yes.
confused about it, yeah.
Yeah, there's some really weird inconsistencies with that whole deal, with that ending with the Super Hedgehogs.
It's kind
Yeah,
of
I wasn't sure if it was like the people who made the cartoons fault, or if it was just bad editing by 4Kids or the Japanese.
No, they both
Double
play out the
it up.
same. Well, they both play out the same in both versions, so maybe it was just bad writing or something, I don't know.
Guess I don't really think about it. Because, yeah, I always thought that the Chaos Emeralds are absorbed into your body when you become super, but this show seems to implicate that the emeralds just go to a temporary new other dimension, and it has nothing to do with your super form, I guess? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I meant, it kind of seems to imply that Shadow did have all the emeralds absorbed into him, because once he stops going super, then we see the Chaos Emeralds disappear, and yet Sonic is still super, so if that's the case, then Sonic shouldn't be super at this point.
That's the Gale's Emeralds for you, always chaotic. Anyway, to be fair, about Blue Typhoon not having trouble with the Vertex, I think they showed Knuckles doing something to Master Emerald to give them extra power. Although they forget to actually establish they were in trouble, so it doesn't really have any effect. Because if they established that Blue Typhoon was being sucked in and then they get their energy from the Master Emerald, it would be more effective. You just don't see really anything happen.
Yeah, I took that to mean, like, because the Chaos Emeralds were flying into the void, I'm like, oh, is Knuckles gonna somehow use the Master Emerald to shut down the void? But, like, that scene didn't go anywhere.
No, it seemed to just recharge the spaceship somehow. That's all it did.
Yeah, they're pretty much just all like, screw you guys, I'm going home. And that's it.
But does that mean that they have to find all the Gale's Emeralds again from scratch?
It feels like we're back to square one.
Yeah. So, on a side note, I did decide to look up which episode is the big one. The one I mentioned earlier with the gold and silver Metarex. That is episode 67, so we'll be talking about that next time.
Oh, nice. More pathetic lyrics. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's something to look forward to.
That episode is big for several reasons, and one of them is a reason I've mentioned several times, and it is the fact that Deco and Boko are among my favorite Eggman sidekicks because of how competent they are. That's the episode I think of when I think of Deco and Boko.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Gasp.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, because I remember, like, thinking of the different plot points. I'm kind of like, when's, like, the next time we're going to get into the episode where we see that specific form that Sonic has?
Yep, that is it.
Ah, nice. That'll be fun to talk about.
To
So
be
yeah,
continued.
definitely looking forward to next time.
So am I then. Alrighty, cool. Yeah, I guess we're done with this conversation then for this episode. Let's end on Chris's beautiful face over there.
It almost kind of looks like it kind of makes me think like that kind of reaction seems like if you take that out of context, like Sonic's walking in, it's like, hey, like, what? Oh no, we weren't making out. Yeah, Chris developing bestiality. Oh no.
Sure, she almost tried to kill me, but now we're making out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
we went.
come on, she had boobs.
Hey, Chris is
Sonic.
supposed to be like an audience surrogate, and a lot of the audience is interested, so...
Yeah. All the while.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like Chris, like, oh, Sonic, it's not what it looks like. I swear.
Yeah, especially in that pose that Rouge has, where it looks like she's really sticking her butt out that far.
And Chris covering up his crotch, that doesn't look good.
Rouge always looks like that with her butt out like that.
Us and our bad,
God.
dirty jokes all the time. Yeah.
Rouge, god damn it,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
Breaking.
Make them work for it.
Poor Melty again.
Come on, I was getting ready. I was about ready to make it to base 3, Sonic.
Reel it in.
Hey.
Reel it in.
Oh God!
Down, boy.
Thank you for joining us on this stream.
I don't think that is broken. Try to fix it for next time.
Jeez.
Indeedy. All right. I think that's it then.
Yeah.
So, for next stream, I guess we go back to Fleetway and Sonic X. Unless I'm finally going to finish that Sonic Prime Dissected. That was still the plan. I haven't
Oh
done it.
yeah.
Whoops.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yep, a lot of people worked on it, including Melting Man helping me edit it, so I should really
Yeah,
finish
well,
that.
specifically, I helped out with editing the audio, and yeah, it was quite the marathon.
I bet it was. It's a huge video, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
scared
like
to work
I
on
had a
it.
feeling it was gonna be a long episode, but I didn't expect it to be like over an hour long. It's like, oh, jeez, there's so much freaking monologuing in this episode with you and Elise.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. But yeah, I guess I have to hurry up before the next episodes come out. Because I'm hearing rumors we're going to get an update on when the next episode comes out within 2 weeks or so.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I've been hearing talks about that. But yeah, even though Sonic Prime Dissected took a while to edit together, it's like, yeah, well, I'm still sane enough to help out with Sonic Movie 2 Dissected if that's still on the working pile.
So much in the working pile. So yeah, lots of stuff coming in the future. So I hope you're looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And see you all next time then. Everyone want to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Goodbye and good night.
Bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to watch Double Silly's Twitch as well as like the captains.
That's right. I'll put the download to our Let's Plays of Who Murdered Sonic down below. Or just The Murder of Sonic, right?
Yeah, so if you want to hear Roger's first impressions on it, then go to Sil's channel. And go to,
Sala channel for his first.
Sala.
Yeah, Sala for his own line of streams, yeah.
If you want to check out cute little art, come see my DeviantArt art with Space Cat Girl Addy, and maybe I'll draw something nice for you.
Oh, I put your Zoe DeviantArt beneath. Guess I should replace that. Oh well.
Yeah, I haven't used that one in forever.
Well, see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip.
Bye.
Goodbye.